طالب أجنبي، أول مناقشة لطالب أجنبي بالمركز الجامعي والحفيظ بوالصوف ميلة، وهي ما تعكس الانفتاح الذي شهده المركز الجامعي في السنوات الأخيرة، وها هو اليوم يتوج بمناقشة مذكرة ماستر لأول طالب أجنبي من دولة شقيقة. نتمنى له كل التوفيق، ونشكر الأساتذة الكرام على مناقشة وتأطير ودراسة هذه المذكرة. نتمنى التوفيق للجميع وموفقين إن شاء الله. شكرا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين. أما بعد. So hello everyone. So I take this occasion to accept all my unshakable respect. All the thanks for all attending teachers, students. So in this occasion I want to express my warm feeling for my dear teacher and proud director of the Economic Institute, Mr. Mohammed, as well as the supervisor, Mr. الحفيظ, who honored me to be here in the embrace of the economic faculty at the University of Mila. So on June 11, 2024, the discussion committee met in order to discuss the master thesis entitled The Impact of Capital Structure on the Islamic Bank's Profitability, Evidence from the Top Islamic Finance Countries for the period 2003-2022, belonged to the student Mr. Sheikh Torad Bayo and supervised by Dr. Abdelhaq Branch Finance and Accounting, Specialization Corporate Finance. So as usual, it's such a great occasion for all to together in order to have great moment, great scientific moment to discuss this thesis. I hope the discussion will be useful and fruitful for all, because the topic is very interesting. The topic will consider microeconomic level, which will focus on the bank's institutes and the capital structure, the impact of capital structure on Islamic banks' profitability. So the first thing which I observed that this work or this job well structured, well done. There are a lot of great efforts put in this thesis. So before to start this discussion, I want to express all the thanks, all my appreciation for the supervisor for this distinguished job, distinguished thesis. Really, it's worth to mention this work, especially in the level of master. I think it's in the same level of PhD work, so congratulations. As usual, I will give the student Mr. Sheikh Torad Bayo the talk or the speech for 15 minutes at most to express or to present his work, the problematic, the importance, the hypothesis, the process of this work until we achieve the general results, outcoming, and for example, it may be the obstacles for this job, and ending by the suggestion for this thesis. So the stage is yours, and thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. So, respected committee members, and esteemed guests, good morning. So my name is Sheikh Torad Bayo. I'm here to present my master thesis titled by The Impact of Capital Structure on Islamic Bank Profitability, Evidence from the Top Islamic Finance Countries. from the period 2003 to 2022. So first, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to my supervisor, Dr. Abdul for their unwavering guidance, support, and valuable insightful throughout my research journey. I would also like to thank the committee president, Professor Faris Habash, and all the examiners, Dr. Sami Benjidou and Dr. Murad Boudiab, for taking the time to review my thesis. My sincere thanks to the director of the University, الحفيظ بوالصوف, Center for Professor Bouchlagam Mirouche, and his entire team for their continuous effort, and to the director of the Institute of Economic and Management, Dr. Mohammed Batala'a. I'm also grateful to the University Campus Director, Mr. Saad Abbas, and Mr. Hamza Hayour, and all the University Campus staff for their support and kindness. A special thank you to my colleague and my friends, whose encouragement and camaraderie have been invaluable throughout this journey. So with that, I would like to begin my presentation. So here we have the title that I mentioned before, the impact of capital structure on Islamic bank profitability, evidence from the top Islamic finance countries for the period 2003 to 2022. Here we have presentation plan. We start with introduction, empirical literature, data and methodology, result and discussion, finally the recommendations. So here we have introduction. The financial landscape has undergone significant transformation over the past few decades, with Islamic banking emerging as a unique and vital component of the global financial system. Islamic banking, governed by the principle of Sharia law, set itself apart from conventional banking through its prohibitions of interest riba and its strong emphasis on ethical investment, profit sharing, and risk sharing mechanism. This distinctive approach aligns financial practices with Islamic ethical standards and offers an alternative financial model that has gained substantial traction worldwide, including in non-Muslim majority countries. So the period from 2003 to 2022 has been practically dynamic and challenging for Islamic finance. It has witnessed rapid growth, regulatory advancement, and increasing integration into the global financial system. Islamic banks operating in various economic environments have had to navigate complex challenges related to their capital structure. So this study holds significant importance as it delves into the impact of capital structure on the profitability of Islamic banks. In the top Islamic finance countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar, these countries are at the forefront of Islamic banking development, set benchmark for Sharia compliant financial practices and regulatory frameworks. By examining this leading Islamic finance market, this research aims to provide comprehensive understanding of how different components of capital structure, namely equity and deposit, affect the financial performance of Islamic banks, thereby contributing to the advancement of knowledge in this field. So here we have the problem of the study. Does the capital structure significantly impact the profitability of Islamic banks in the countries mentioned before? particularly from the period 2003 to 2022. Here we have hypothesis of the study. A significant positive relationship exists between the equity and the equity to total asset ratio and Islamic banks' return on asset. A significant positive relationship exists between the equity to total asset ratio and Islamic banks' return on equity. There is a significant positive relationship exists between the deposit to total asset ratio and Islamic banks' net profit margin. Do Islamic banks' capital structure significantly impact their profitability matrix? And here we have objectives of the study. The primary objective of this study is to analyze the impact of capital structure on the profitability of Islamic banks across the top Islamic finance countries. Specific objectives include to determine the relationship between equity levels and profitability in Islamic banks, to assess how deposits impact the profitability of Islamic banks, to provide recommendations for optimizing the capital structure of Islamic banks to enhance profitability. So the importance of the study. This study is significant for several reasons: theoretical contribution, practical implications, policy formulation, and investor insights. So, about that, our subtopic is the impact of capital structure and Islamic bank profitability. So what is the capital structure? Here we have the definition of capital structure. A company's capital structure defines its funding sources for operation and growth. It primarily consists of two main components, debt and equity, each playing distinct yet cordial roles in a company's financial framework. It is almost impossible for a company to function without utilizing at least one, if not both, of these financing methods. And here we have the definition of profitability. Profitability is defined as a firm's ability to generate revenue exceeding its expenses. But this definition, it's the same of conventional banks. So what is the profitability in Islamic banks? In Islamic banking, profitability signifies the surplus of revenue over expenses used to equitably enhance the community's economic welfare without exploiting any part of the community. Here we have literature review. So this is systematic literature review format. So based on this structure, we analyzed the previous studies. We start with abstract, introduction, methodology, results and interpretations, discussion, and future analysis. So we have investigated 20 studies in this study. So between the 20 previous studies, 9 of them it was significant and positive, and another 9 of them it was significant but negative, and 2 of them it was insignificant. Data and methodology. Population and sample. This study's population comprises 5 Islamic banks operating within the top 10 Islamic finance countries ranked by the Islamic Financial Services Board, like Indonesia, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar, with emphasis on the case of Bank Sharia Indonesia for Indonesia, and the Maybank Islamic Berhad for Malaysia, and Al-Rashidi Bank for Saudi Arabia, Dubai Islamic Bank for Emirates, and Qatar Islamic Bank for Qatar, for the period 2003 to 2022. Variables of the study. So, the independent variable. In the independent variable, we have return on assets, return on equity, and net profit margin. So this dependent variable, we have profitability measured by this return on assets, return on equity, and net profit margin. And the independent variable is capital structure measured by deposit to total asset and equity to total asset. So here we have econometric model of the study. We have 3 equations here. The first of one, it's return on asset. The second one, it's return on equity. And the last one, it's net profit margin. Where beta 0 represent the intercept term, beta 1 and beta 2 represent the coefficient of the independent variable, epsilon represent the error term, I signifies the cross-sectional element of the study, T represent the time series element in the study. So here we have the result and the discussion. We start with polar regression. So after the analysis it's done by Stata software, we have this result. We start with polar regression. So I invite you to look at the first equation, return on asset. We have return on asset impacted by UTA. Its coefficient it was positive and significant, and it's the same of UTA. What this mean? This means that capital structure measured by UTA and UTA impact positively and significant return on asset. The second one, return on equity, it's the same. We have a significant positive relationship between capital structure measured by UTA, equity to total asset, and UTA, deposit to total asset, and the return on equity. It's the same for net profit margin. It's significant and positive. So we have fixed effect model. And the fixed effect model for return on asset, it's the same. We have a significant positive impact of capital structure measured by UTA and UTA on the return on asset, and the same for net profit margin. But we have insignificant relationship between ETA and return on equity. Its coefficient it was negative, but it is insignificant because their probability is 0.963. So relationship between capital structure, it is significant positive for return on asset, significant positive for net profit margin, significant positive from UTA to return on equity, but it is insignificant for ETA or return on asset. So we have random effect model. In the random effect model, it's the same like bullet. All of them, it was significant and positive. So we have a significant positive relation between them. So here we have return on asset. So based on British and Pagan test, we find that bullet is most appropriate for return on asset. But we have a problem of heteroscedasticity. We find a problem of heteroscedasticity. It was detected by weighted least square model. For return on equity, based on British-Pagan test, we find that bullet is the most appropriate, so bullet always confirmed for return on equity. And the fixed effect model for net profit margin, based on British-Pagan test, we find that fixed or random effect model, it was selected. But we have two choices. We would like to choose one of them. So Haussmann test can give us this answer. Haussmann test, after the result of Haussmann test, we have fixed effect model confirmed. So net profit margin, it was appropriate by a fixed effect model. Here we have the result of weighted least square with the robust standard error option. So we have written after detected the problem of heteroscedasticity. return on asset by weighted least square, we have a significant positive relationship between ETA and return on asset and UTA and return on asset. So here we have capital structure impacts positively and significantly the profitability. So the final results and economic interpretation. Hypothesis 1. A significant positive relationship exists between the equity to total asset ratio and Islamic banks' return on asset. So the robust model reaffirms the significant positive relationship between ETA and return on asset with a coefficient of 0.13. This suggests that higher equity level lead to higher return on asset, reinforcing the importance of maintaining strong equity position to enhance profitability. Hypothesis 2. A significant positive relationship exists between the equity to total asset ratio and Islamic banks' return on equity. The positive and strong impact of ETA on return on equity indicate that well-capitalized banks with substantial equity achieve higher return on equity due to increased investor confidence and profitable investment. Hypothesis 3. It was accepted. There is a significant positive relationship exists between the deposit to total asset ratio and Islamic banks' net profit margin. So a positive coefficient for UTA and net profit margin highlight the importance of deposit in maximizing profit margin for Islamic banks, likely due to the effective utilization of depositor found through profit-sharing mechanism that align with Sharia principle. Hypothesis 4. Do Islamic banks' capital structure significantly impact the profitability matrix? Here we have the statistical test and regression model highlight the significant role of ETA and UTA in shaping financial outcomes. Recommendation. So according to the results found and the economic interpretation, the study recommends the following. The strong positive correlation between equity level and profitability suggests that Islamic banks should focus on strategies to enhance their equity basis. This could include retaining earnings, equity financing, and forming strategic partnership to improve financial stability and profitability. Although deposits contribute positively to profitability, their impact is less significant than equity. Policymakers should ensure the deposit structure are optimized through innovative profit-sharing mechanisms, aligned with Sharia principle maximizing the contribution to the bank's profitability. Regulatory authorities should consider developing frameworks that promote the balanced growth of both equity and deposits. Policy that encourage equity investment and protect depositor interest can help create a more stable and profitable Islamic banking environment. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this distinguished presentation. You were brilliant. You mentioned great management for your thesis for this presentation. Really, it's a very good job. Even you didn't respect a little bit the time, but it's acceptable.
Sorry about it.
So, as usual, I will give the talk to the supervisor, Dr. Al-Khalif, to tell us a little bit about the personality of the researchers, the process of this work, all the steps, beginning from the idea until you achieve the result and until the final thesis. So the floor is yours.
Peace be upon you all. First of all, I would like to thank and to extend a warm welcome to all the attendees, starting by the director of the institutes, and all the kids. I would like also to thank the respectful committee started by Professor from City University. Thank you, Professor, for making the effort to travel to here to discuss this humble work. Between brackets, I would like to open a bracket here to say that Professor Baj was one of my teachers at Rahat Abbas University during my undergraduate studies, and it was one of my committee members, my PhD committee members at Murgila University. So it's a great honor to have you here today at Bawalssof University. I would never forget to address my sincere thanks to the examiners from Bawalssof University, Dr. Sami Benjiddu, for his support during the preparation of this work. He gave us great support, especially in the practical section. As we know that Dr. Sami Benjiddu is specialized in econometric, is one of the best teachers in econometric at Bawalssof University, without any doubt. Also, I would like to thank my colleague at the department, Dr. Murad Boudiab, for his contribution. We invited Dr. Murad Boudiab because he specialized in topics like this, like accounting, because this topic, as you know, is, I can say, near to accounting more than other fields. So Murad Boudiab is graduated, or was graduated from Malaysian University, and those of course he will give a contribution to this work. I will never forget also to address my sincere thanks, my extended welcome to all the colleagues of Torad from Mauritania, from Algeria, from the Department of Economy. I would also to thank the media members, the radio of Mila, and so on. So let me now summarize or talk a little bit about this work. The discussion about this work started at the beginning of, I think, the first or the second semester, when I met Torad for a module of course. Torad wanted to conduct this work in French. I advised him to avoid French because, as you know, English is the language, or is the world language, is the language of research. But Torad, I think, because of his career in Mauritania and his studies, I think that they employed or they used French in their universities. They was afraid a little bit of using English, but I encouraged him to join the English club, and finally he joined the English club, and as you see that his English is good enough to make work like this. The second thing that I would like to mention is that making work in English doesn't mean the researcher must be like a native speaker or something like this. It doesn't need all this. It needs just to learn some English basic, to learn some academic words, to trust yourself also, and to join the international standards of preparing research, such research like this. We choose also, we conducted this topic, as I said, based on the field of study of Torad in Mauritania, because I think he studied a field near to accounting. We tried to merge between accounting and finance. I said that this topic is near to accounting, but at the end is a field of finance also. So we faced during the preparation of this thesis, we faced some obstacles. One of significant, or one of these obstacles is collecting the data. As you know, collecting data or finding data for any research is significant. Why? Because without the data you cannot go ahead with your research. The data of this thesis needs sometimes to have access to some websites, and as we know that Algerian University or our university doesn't have the access to the data stream to collect this kind of data. So we spent more time. We made great effort to collect this data, and at the end we forced to extend the period of research. We were working about the period from to I think 2010 to 2022, but at the end we extend the period and we could collect the data. Of course, as you see in the title, the impact of, we employed some econometric models, and with the support, of course, of our colleague from the department, Sami Benjidou. Thank you so much for your support, by the way. And alhamdulillah, at the end, we get all these results. We try to follow IMRAD methodology, and this thesis might be a reference for other students who want to follow IMRAD methodology. We also try to use, try to make a systematic research. Why? When I say systematic research, I mean that we try to rely on Scopus references only. Yes, all the articles in this thesis were collected from Scopus database. All the articles are published on Scopus database. We also employed a statistical package. We employed Stata 17, and it's not easy for a master student to employ Stata 17 and to know some special techniques in econometry, because I think it's very important for this study, for this kind of study. You have to use Stata or reviews or any package to help you get or go through your final result. I'd like also to thank Toraj for his hard work, for his excellent ethical standard. Of course, his commitment to produce a highly quality work, it has been evident throughout the process of preparation this dissertation. It's a great pleasure to Supervisor one. I think Torad is the first international student to defend his thesis at Hafid Bossouf University, and it's a message also for future international students that Hafid Bossouf or Institute of Economy has all the material and the human capabilities to supervise other students from other friendly countries. I am so happy to, as I said before, to have these committee members. Thank you so much for your attending. Thank you for your listening. And quickly, I give the floor to my Professor Persever. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Abhab, for this presentation. Mr. Torad, you are lucky to have such distinguished supervisor like Mr. Dr. I think this good relation it's reflect also in the quality of this job. I always talk about the good relationship between the supervisor and the candidate. It's obvious and it's clear that this good relation that will reflect in the quality of the job. So thank you very much, Mr. Abhab, for this presentation, for this evaluation. You are value a lot of strength points in this thesis. So directly I will give the talk to Mr. or Dr. Morad. We will start with Dr. Morad Bourdieu in order to arrange some organization take. So accept Sir Dr. Morad Bourdieu my unshakable respect. So the floor is yours. I think Mr. Bourdieu, it's his major specialization in statistic data will value accounting. Yes, will value the strength point in this thesis, and at the same time will highlight or will highlight darkest angles or corners it may be in this thesis. So the stage is yours, Mr. Bola.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am grateful to be in this panel committee. Dr. Farsad Bash as chairman and Dr. Abdul Hafid as supervisor. I and Dr. Sami Benjidou as examiner. Also, I would like to welcome Brother Torado. I'm sorry if my spelling is maybe Torado, right?
Yes, Torado.
Yes. Welcome in your second country. Also, I would like to welcome Dr. Deputy Vice Chancellor Boularo, and also our Dean Mohammed Bokula, and all top managers and our colleagues. And also I will welcome everybody here. As usual, we are here to discuss or to give some advices to improve this work. Before I start, I would like to tell our students congrats in advance. Really, I have read his work. It is excellent, amazing work, well done. But I have some comments. First of all, I would like to start from the title. The title, brother, you need to mention the period, only the impact or the influence of capital structure, and you need to mention from 2003 to 2022. You need for that, and you can write it, please. And also, I will move to abstract. Abstracts, you use three languages: Arabic language, French, and English. You can use two languages. I prefer English and Arabic, if possible. You need for French language, and also always still in abstracts, keywords. Keywords, brother, you can use 5 words or less than that. Keywords, you can use 5 words or less than that. For example, you need to use the measurements of dependent variable. For example, the return on assist and the return on equity. You can use only you can use only probability. That's enough. And also, okay, let's move in the second thing. List of tables and figures and abstract should be on the table of content. You must to mention them in the table of content. And also it's better. It's better if you use five chapters. Chapter 1, introduction. Chapter 2, literature review. Chapter 3, methodology. Chapter 4, result. And last chapter, future limitation and recommendation. You can use. I think your work you did not wrong, but it will be your work will be better if you use 5 chapters, as I mentioned. But also, let's go to hypothesis. Okay, hypothesis, brother, you can use. We have 2 main hypotheses. After that, we can use sub hypothesis. For example, the main hypothesis, you can use there is positive or negative relation between DTA and probability. After that, you can use SOP hypothesis. There is positive relationship between, for example, TDI and return analysis. The second one between TDI and return inequity, like this. And sorry. For example, brother, the title suppose you cannot put the title at the end of the page. You must to remove the second page, the title. You must to remove the second page or to remove the second page. And also previous studies. Previous studies, brother, as brother Abdul said, you used IPA style, right? IPA style, brother, you need to mention the author name, the full name. You can use only, for example, your name or Torah Sheikh. You can use Sheikh year between practices. If you start from, if you start with your name, if the end, you will use the citation and the end of the paragraph. After that, you can use the name and the year between practice. And that's, for example, in the previous studies, you start with the author, the full name. You open the practice, full name, the author. After that, the year. After that, you must to use in this case only the nickname, and use only the author, the year between practice. And also, I have, let's move to the analysis section. Analysis section, brother, the correlation. If you the page, I think 39, the correlation. The correlation, brother, you are not wrong, but the explanation, I think, not like that. What's the benefit of correlation? We can see. For example, let me to move to page. I think 39, right? Yes, 39, yes. Well, we can see, for example, return on assist, we have table, right? Return on assist, the correlation, it will show us the similarity. This variable, for example, return on assist, we can show us the similarity with another variable. It means that if the correlation higher, they are three scholars. One of them said if the correlation more than 70, you need to use another model. One scholar said if the similarity more than 80, you have to use another model. Another one said if the similarity 90%, you have to use another model. What means that if more than 90, it means that two variables are almost the same. In this case, you have to use another model, but it's okay. Your result, it's okay, but explanation you have to change it. Only the explanation. And also, if we go to appendix, you said the appendix are tables, but you are using figure 1, figure 2, but are tables. Please change this word, tables, not figure. That's all. I think really you did a very good job, excellent job. I think so, but I'm sure you can publish this work with your supervisor in high impact journals. Maybe you need to add something like moderator or moderator or something like that, or mediator, and you can publish in a high impact journal like ownership, ownership or something like that, I think so you can publish in high impact journal. That's what I have. Thank you so much and all the best.
Okay, so thank you very much. So thank you very much, Dr. Boudier, for all these methodological and scientific observations. I think it will be quite useful and fruitful for the candidate. Just I want I would like to say to this candidate, Mr. Turad, our duty here as a discussion committee is just to evaluate your job and not to judge you. So feel free and take it easy. So I will turn directly the floor to Dr. Sami Benjidou in order to highlight some point to value the strength point in this job, and as well as to highlight some observation or some direction to do large corners and also in this thesis. So the stage is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. Hello everyone. Before I begin, I would like to welcome the chairman of the committee from City University, Professor Paris, and I thank him for his presence with us. I also thank my friend and colleague, Dr. Mila, the student thesis supervisor, and also my friend and colleague Murat Boudier. I also thank the media committee and in particular the Mila regional radio station for attending with us and broadcasting the activities of discussing the thesis of the Mauritanian students, Sheikh Turad Bayo. Then I would like to extend my greeting to all present and my gratitude to the students for their presentation and work. I also extend my appreciation to the supervisor, Dr. Filhaq, for their guidance and direction for the students. Generally, the students has done an excellent job in presenting their research topic in a clear and focused manner. I would like to comment the efforts of the students and the supervisor in achieving this outstanding work, which reflects a high level of skill and creativity. I wish the students continue success and progress in their academic and professional endeavors. But Sheikh Turad Bayo, I have some remarks about the theoretical aspects and some questions about the econometrics study. Okay. And the beginning regarding the theoretical aspects. First remark on the cover page. List of members of the jury replace with word president by the current word chairman. Okay? Today's word chairman. A list of appendices replace the units, it is a unit root test for all variables, ETA, and VAR by the stationarity test for all variables of type. Okay? The same remark, Osman test and the brush piping test. these are tests that come after estimating 3 models, including fixed and random ethics. Okay? It's test for choose the appropriate model. In introduction, page 2 and 3. Page 2 and 3. What is the basic question related to the research topic? Or the main research question? For example, how does capital structure influence the Islamic banks' profitability during the period of 2003 and to 2022? And in the chapter 2, what is the conclusion of this chapter? What is the conclusion of this chapter? The conclusion is for the chapter, not for the sections. Okay? And I have some questions. And Sheikh Bayo only answer the question that you find easy. Okay? Question number 1. What's the basis on which the judgment, okay, you can write this. What's the basis on which the judgment was made that there is no multicollinearity? Question number 2. Question number 2. Is the multicollinearity a problem? Is the multicollinearity a problem? Question. Okay. If yes, how can we eliminate this problem? Or what's the best way to resolve this issue? Okay. And in page 14, we have 3 models with 3 equations. Okay. Replace the dependence variables by the number of equations. For example, replace ROA analysis by first equation analysis. Okay? And the same remark for the other variables. Another question. What's the difference between fixed effects and random effects? Another question. How do we interpret the intercepts in a fixed effect model? Finally, I would like to thank you for your hard work and wish you the best of luck in your academic and professional endeavors.
So thank you very much, Dr. Sami Mujibou, for all this observation. So before taking my turn in discussing this work, I will give the speech to Dr. Murad. I think he has a question to add for the candidate, so feel free to ask.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Only I have one question, if possible. What is the difference between performance and workability?
Performance and performance.
Yes. I think the question is clear. Thank you.
So, thank you very much. It's my turn. So, I will give some observation, some methodological and scientific observation about this work. First of all, I consider this work as very good job. Candidates did great job, did great effort in order to illustrate his point of view, in order to illustrate the result, discussing the result. And the structure of this thesis was very clear, was very obvious. So there is no problem in the aspect of methodological level, as well as the scientific level. Also, the candidate was convenient, and he gave us a lot of evidence in order to convey his results. So I will give you some observation, starting by the page number 3. So when I have read all the thesis, I mentioned that you use a lot metrics rather than key performance indicators. So I would like to explain me what is the difference, or what are the differences between metrics and key performance indicators, and why you use metrics rather than KPI. There are a little bit differences, so it's worth to mention these differences and convey me about your approach. Also, at the same page number 3 in the abstract, the abstract focused more on the metrics rather than the capital structure, which is the independent variable. So it was better to mention both the independent and the dependent variable to understand the relation and the impact. In your thesis, in your job, in your problematic, there are two variables, the independent one and the dependent one. So, but the focus was just in the independent variable, the dependent variable, and you didn't mention at all in the abstract the independent variable. And I think in the abstract you have to mention all the variables, the relation between the variables, the approach that you have used in this thesis, and ending by showing or mentioning the results and the recommendation. The next observation here, it's a methodological observation about hypothesis of the study. I think hypothesis is more concise way to refer to the hypothesis of the study. Just studies hypothesis. It's more grammatically, it's more suitable rather than hypothesis of the study. Page number 12. In the second paragraph, you mentioned the period from 2003 until 2022 has been particularly dynamic and challenging for Islamic finance, witnessing rapid growth until the end of this paragraph. I think it was better to give us some statistic to be more convincing, because it's a judgment here. When there is judgment, you have to add statistic in order to convey the reader. Without mentioning any statistics, your judgment is subjective and not objective. The next observation in the page number 13, in the first paragraph, it was supposed to be being first presenting the study problematic before presenting the hypothesis. You are starting directly by the hypothesis, but it's better, it's more better. I know you are mentioning later the problematic in the coming chapter, but it was better if you mention the problematic and then the hypothesis, because the hypothesis illustrates the problematic. The second paragraph, I think there is a little bit problem with the arrangement of hypothesis. The last hypothesis, the last one, the fourth one, the last hypothesis should the first one should be the first one as principal hypothesis, and we can consider the H1, H2, and H3 as secondary hypothesis. When you read the first hypothesis, the second one, and the third one, you can obviously see that this is a secondary hypothesis. The principal one, or the critical hypothesis, is the fourth one. So it's worth to be the fourth one, or the last hypothesis, the principal one, and the first H1, H2, and H3 will be the secondary hypothesis. Of the same page, number 13. H4, you didn't mention any type of capital structure. There are a lot of kinds, lot of types of capital structure, but you didn't mention any one of them. For example, you can mention equity capital like common stock and preferred stock, profit sharing instruments like murabaha and musharaka. Third one, debt-like instrument, like sukuk. And the fourth one, hybrid instrument. The fifth one, investment account. The sixth one, waqf funds. We have no proof. So, by knowing this type, you can investigate which type has significant impact on the degree of the bank's profitability. Your job is to mention or to illustrate the impact of the capital on the profitability of the bank. But there are, in the capital structure, there are a lot of kinds and types of capital structure. Which one? Which one? I have mentioned 6 types. So you can illustrate one of them which has the most impact or the most significant on the profitability of banks. The next one in page 16, the first title, Capital Structure of Islamic Banking, and you move directly to the introduction. So it's better to put just a brief introduction or preface when you move from a title to another. Also in page 16, the same observation as the previous one. There is no need to document this statement. You can read this statement. The company capital structure defines its funding source. Just an easy statement, a simple statement. There is no need to document each term, each paragraph, each sentence. You can use your own style in writing. So there is no need just every time you read or you write a statement or a simple phrase to document this phrase. You can use your own style. You are a researcher. Page 17. in the last of the first paragraph, you have presented a lot of definition about capital structure. When I read this paragraph, I have found a lot of definition, a lot of types of definition. So you have presented a lot of definition about capital structure in Islamic banks. Therefore, it was better to sum up, to summarize, or to conclude this definition by illustrating a general definition using your own style in writing. So you are presented a lot of definition. So it's better to generate one definition which will be acceptable for you according to your theme. Page 18 in the first paragraph. Also, it was better, I wrote here, it was better if you mentioned this importance in 4 points to be more convincing and obvious. When you mention the importance of the study, you just write 2 paragraphs. So it was better to write this or to sum up this importance by points, one by point, in order to be more convincing. The second one, in the beginning of the second paragraph, components of capital structure, you wrote Jilani, but who is he? Who is he, Jilani? You have to present this writer. We don't know about this writer. So in the end of the page, you can. It's more better to present this writer. The next observation in the page number 22. Page number 22, the last title, Key Performance Indicators. So, in the beginning of your work, you have focused more on metrics, and then you use the key performance indicator. There is a little bit confusion between metrics and, as I have said, between metrics and key performance indicator. So I will give you some illustration, but the task for you in the ending of this discussion to illustrate more, because key performance indicators are more strategic rather than the metrics, because we use metrics when you use day-to-day operation. When we use day-to-day operation, we use metrics. But when it comes for strategic approach, we use key performance indicators. And this is the crucial point or factor that distinguishes the key performance indicators from the metrics. Finally, page number 36, in the last, in the ending of the first paragraph, you have brought a huge number of previous studies, and all these previous studies have great links or nexus or relation with your study. It's excellent. It's points that calculate for you. So, great positive points for you, but what I want to add that you didn't mention the odds and the differences between your study and these previous studies. It is your job, your task. You have mentioned a lot of previous studies. These previous studies have great and direct links and nexus between these studies and your study. But your job is to distinguish your studies. What are the points? What are the factors, what are the elements that differentiate and distinguish my job, my thesis from these previous studies? And this will give you the value of your study, the value of your thesis. What are the add points? So this is just what I wanted to say, or what I wanted to add about this dissertation. As I have said in the beginning of this discussion, the work was very great, useful and fruitful. The writer put great job, great effort in this thesis in collaboration with the supervisors. The result, it's obvious, it's here, it's great and distinguished thesis, master thesis. I think according from this thesis you can generate an article in order to publish in high indexed journals, and Mr. Abdel Haqqa has the great experience in publishing in the high grade indexed journals. So before ending this discussion, I will give you 5 minutes at most to choose the suitable question for you in order to answer this. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You can choose one question or two questions. That's all.
So about the first question for Sami Ben Jiddu. What are the basis for the main multi-collinearity? The multi-collinearity, yes, how can we eliminate problem? So about multicollinearity, we have this test, the test of multicollinearity, and
listen to me. What is the critical value, or what is the judgment, or what is the condition that we focus on to say there is a multicollinearity relationship or multicollinearity under the independent variable or not? You understand the question?
yeah.
Yeah.
So after the test, we find that we haven't multicollinearity because the VIF, the variance of inflation factor, it was less than 10. So that is the variance of inflation factor and the mean variance, it was less than 10. And about what's the difference between how to interpret the fixed effect model. So we interpret the fixed effect model based on the Haussmann test. After the Haussmann test, if the Haussmann test is significant, less than 5%, we choose fixed effect. If it is more than 5%, we choose random effect. So here we have a question, performance. What is the difference between performance and profitability? So if we talk about performance, so we talk about like the performance of employers, so all of the all of the bank staff, it's introduced in a performance, but profitability is just the surplus of revenue. This is the difference between them. But profitability it is included in the performance.
I would like to add something about the questions of maybe Professor Jiddu. I am not sure that I will give the right answer or not, because I am not specialized in econometric, but I will try to give a short answer about I think the question that you said, what does it mean, the multicollinearity. I think that the multicollinearity represents the relationship between the independent variable, which means an independent variable affects another independent variable, and which is directly affects the dependent variable. So here we cannot judge that this for example, or we cannot say that the independent variable has a positive or negative impact on the dependent variable, because it is related with another independent variable which make the effect on the other independent variable. And the question about the fixed effect, you said that, I think, what is the meaning of fixed effect? I think I don't know, but I think that's the fixed effect one. We don't make differentiation between, for example, the countries. If we study countries, and here we are talking about banks. When we run the test, we don't differentiating between the banks. I think we talk about the fixed effect, and the opposite is the random effect. Just as I know, Dr. Sami, if you have any addition to add or any contribution, the president can give you the floor.
Yes, feel free. So thank you very much, Mr. Abdelhaq. Yes, I will give him the talk. So as I said in the beginning of this discussion, there is a beautiful relationship between the supervisor and the candidates, and my argument is here the supervisor defend the candidates. So it's a point that's calculated for you, Mr. Hab.
Yeah, it's before we said that Torad is one of our international students from friendly countries. It's our guest, and we have to take care about our guests from Mauritania or from any other country. I have considered Torad, as you said, that as like a colleague, like a friend, like a brother, not a student. And I think this is one of the causes or the elements that push you force Torah to give such thesis.
Yes, great. So we give the talk or the speech to Mr. the Vice Director in order to add something. So feel free.
Thank you. So I speak as a researcher, not as a prime president of the university. I have just one suggestion. Toad, you said that there is, when you make the test of linearity, the test is also significant. So why don't test the log linearity as example, or the we can if I make some mistake, you correct to me. Yeah? So why, as example, y is equal to a exponentially t multiplied by some parameters. So we can't in any time make a relation linearity, direct linearity, but we can make so random change to interpolate the relation, the real relation. So as an advice in doing as it is good, but maybe as advice for future job or work, why don't study some other type of relation? Maybe y is equal to a log t plus b, something like this. Because I made it for some studies and it's work. If you don't have a direct, I will say a direct linearity relation, but maybe we will have a linearity relation after some changement in the randoms. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Boularo, for this comment, for this more scientific contribution. Here, I would like to mention that we have made some pre-test. The fundamental test is not the multicollinearity test. We just want, in the beginning of running the model, which were fixed effect and random effect, to make or to see if there is, to highlight if there is a multicollinearity test between the independent variable. Because as I said, this is a pre-test before we regress the fundamental model or the fundamental test. So a multicollinearity test becomes to see if, for example, if you have y equal to beta 1 to beta 0 plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2. If x1 if x1 affects or impact x2, and after that, of course, as a result, x2 or y will be affected by x2.
It's a basic
so there is a
condition.
problem.
It's
Yeah.
a basic. It
So-
must be independent. It's
Yes.
a basic condition.
Yes. So we just want to detect if there is this problem or not. After that, after we
Collinearity.
yes, we pass this we pass by this test. We run the fundamental test for our model.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So thank you, the Vice Director. Thank you, Supervisor. It's obvious when there is a challenge and demanding debate. That means the work it's great.
It's really good.
So it's if there is anything for the audience to add, feel free to ask for the other audience. There is nothing. So I apologize for the attending to leave the room in order to take the deliberation process.